Hey, friendo, Steve here. Once again, I'm going to sit here for as long as it takes and answer every single one of your Ask Wrestle Juice questions. Make sure you're subbed to the channel. Make sure you've turned on that little notify bell. I don't have a grandpa shirt on, but I do have a dad shirt on today. This is out of his collection. Crap, my dad, he wasn't a mechanic. Well, he was a mechanic back in Vietnam. Never rode a motorcycle in his life, so I don't even know. I mean, it's a comfy-ass shirt, though. I tell you what, thanks, Dad. All right, here we go. 290 questions. I got all day. I'm not doing anything else today, so we'll just go ahead and kick things off. Hopefully this doesn't take us too long. Push Car says, which pro wrestlers could have had way greater careers if they interchanged their gimmicks? So two wrestlers with underwhelming careers, let's just call it in the WWE, and we're going to switch their gimmicks. This is what I'm going to do. Mark Jindrak and Baron Corbin. And I'm talking about Baron Corbin's NXT gimmicks. The lone wolf thing. You give that to Mark Jindrak, who, if I recall, didn't really ever actually have a gimmick in WWE. He was just a dude who had like an amazing dropkick. And he was supposed to be part of Evolution, and that didn't happen. So you got to give him something. Give him the lone wolf. Give him motorcycle riding lone wolf with the killer dropkick. And then Baron Corbin, because he never had a good gimmick, except for when he was in NXT. So you just take all his gimmicks away and you let him be him. That's kind of what he was towards the tail end of his career when he was in NXT, and everybody seemed to love that. So just let Baron Corbin be Baron Corbin. No dressing up like he's a waiter. But I liked the bum-ass Corbin. It was funny. But then, like, you know, successful Corbin, whatever that was, happy Corbin, that was not good. None of the Corbin gimmicks really, besides bum-ass Corbin, which he was pretty good at, really worked. So just take away all those gimmicks and be done with it. And you give the lone wolf to what's his face. You give it to Mark Jindrak, who really should have had a better career. Tyler Warden says, I'm moving away from Louisville to Nashville next week, and I'm very nervous. Never really been out on my own to this extent. Any advice for someone looking to find their way in the world, especially being a performer? I don't know about the performer thing, but I will say this. Having lived on my own before when I was much younger, and when I was probably around your age, I don't know, I was after college in my 20s. I lived in like smack dab in the middle of tourist land, Hollywood, California. I would suggest this. If you're going to be in an apartment or a house or whatever, leave your residence as often as possible. Get out there. Experience people. I think look, I love being in my house. All right. I work from home. Obviously, this is my home office. It's a wonderland. I fucking love this place. I love being in this office. But man, oh man, I like getting out of the house, and everybody else should be getting out of the house. I think, Lacey works from home. My wife works from home also, and she's about to start going back into the office a couple days a week, starting, I think, in October. And I think one of the things that benefits people being out and about, I miss being around people. I miss working with people. I know they could be a pain in the ass, but I don't know. It's just the experience of being around other people and their experiences and their cultures. I think it breeds compassion. I think it breeds understanding, being around people. Easy for me to say because I don't have a job where I have to go and be around people, but I miss that. I miss being around people, man. So just leave your house as much as you can and soak in what Nashville has to offer. I think probably a lot because I hear a lot about Nashville. Mix Up says, which superstar from the Attitude Era would be great now, who was underrated at the time during the Attitude Era? Dan Severn, stalwart Glenn Crow. Dan Severn could have been the bridge between WWE and UFC that everybody seems to want. Stuart Glenn Cross says, best version of William Regal. My favorite version of William Regal is when he's schooling Bill Goldberg in WCW. Grill him on, which modern day wrestler of any promotion could you see having a three faces of set of gimmicks? Bailey. Mike of all trades says, do you ever feel like there's an overwhelming amount of wrestling content to consume? Yes, I do. I really honestly wish WWE would go back to like one really good 2-hour show and that's it. I feel like it was best back then. Same with AEW. It's funny. We just had this conversation. Larson and I had this conversation. The Forbidden Door pay-per-view. 9 matches, 8 of which were set up on Dynamite. 1 of which was set up on Collision. So tell me again why I should be watching Collision. Things Turn Out says, have you heard of the wrestler Stephen Flo? Yes, it's hilarious, and I love his theme song. Olivia Telota says, favorite men and women's wrestler only by gear, Will Ospreay and Mercedes Moné. If you want to go all-time, Raven and probably Mercedes Moné. Her gear is amazing. Oh, maybe Bianca or Rhea. Io. God damn, there's so many women who have amazing gear. Hardy's 8966 says, best Big Show face / heel turn. The one where he cried. Bomb the City says, realistically, how do you think WWE would look like today if guys like Owen Hart, Eddie Guerrero, Brian Pillman, Yokozuna had lived on to have a long career? There's a lot of names. A lot of names you're throwing at me here. So, like, I don't know. I'm not going to break down every single one of these. I will say this. If Brian Pillman had lived, WrestleMania 15 main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Brian Pillman. I saw this in the comments somebody the other day, or on Reddit, I think. Somebody had said Brian Pillman could have been the Joker to Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I love that idea. June says, what do you think happens after we die? Fuck, you guys really looking for some answers today, aren't you? What do I think happens? I don't know. I love science, and I don't know what science has to say about this particular topic. Kind of makes sense that maybe it's just a lot of nothing. That being said, I've seen enough things to think otherwise. And I would really, really, really love to see my dad again one day. I'd love the idea that when I pass, my dog will be there to greet me, and she'll take me to my dad. And then at some point, I'll be there to greet my wife and my kids. That's what I'd like to have happen. Let's see here. Shadow Wolf says, with currently existing companies and rosters being your only limitation, what kind of matches would you book for a true Forbidden Door show? Oh, easy. Roman versus Mox, Seth versus Kenny, CM Punk versus Hangman Adam Page. Those are the easy ones right there. And then, oh man, just it doesn't matter. Like the women's divisions, oh, they're on fire. Just doesn't matter. And they're all dream matchups. Dr. Howie says, what's one thing you'd change from each major company? AEW, I'd give it more of like an ECW type presentation where it just felt a bit more urgent and vital and like rebellious, I guess. I'd also give them a little bit more of the soap opera bullshit that WWE does. WWE, no premium live event or major show will ever have a match under 10 minutes. And I would do a lot more sort of fly on the wall backstage segments. That's what I would do. Larson texts me. I'm going to try to answer a question while I'm answering his text because it's kind of important. Spaceman says, have you seen Superman yet? You liked it? No, I have not seen it yet. I'm going to watch it this weekend though. Big Guy says, does Steve know what gooning means? So on one hand, we got people asking me what I think happens when we die. And then Big Guy wants to know if I know what gooning means. Yes, I know what gooning means. Cameron Buckner says, 2 wrestlers from any era in a 1-hour Iron Man match. Who are they and who wins? Give me. I'd go Danielson versus Luthez. Danielson wins. Klaus Techno says, do you think the concept of Forbidden Door lost a lot of steam considering the fact that all the top drawing stars from Japan and Mexico got signed? Yeah, it's not what it was. There was such a thin door. It's a great branding for AEW. It's like a really good brand name. So they're not going to get rid of it. But it's not really what it was. The promise of what it was, it's not really there anymore. Brilliant, and it works. Yeah, they shouldn't get rid of it because it's a terrific brand. You don't want to get rid of that. But yeah, the concept of Forbidden Door, it's not really that anymore. Possibly Maddie says, other than DDT or super kick, what's a common move today that you miss being a finisher? Maddie says, mine is the superplex. Oh man, I don't even mind the super kick, to be honest with you. Like I like the super kick parties and whatnot. DDT is a really good move. That probably should have stayed a finisher. It's easy for me. It's a powerbomb. Powerbomb should be a finishing move. Oh my God. Powerbomb should definitely be a finishing move. Ski Walker says, could you see someone taking over the head creative role from Triple H and Tony Khan in their respective shows in the next 5 years or so? No, not unless Triple H has like a health scare or something. No, I think business is too good. He understands how to keep butts in seats. He knows how to, navigate whatever politics happen there at TKO. Triple H ain't going anywhere. Tony Khan definitely isn't going anywhere. Black Shaggy says, spooky season's coming up. Any chance we get a That's Not Scary one time for the one time? Probably not. Probably not. But I appreciate that you like That's Not Scary. The Dark Raven says, do you think a possible heel Orange Cassidy could work? I'd be willing to give it a shot. I don't know if it would work or not. HMB says, what's the worst thing you hate about wrestling in general? Something I hate about oh God. It's the discourse. It's the discourse. I can't, he can't engage in good faith anymore. It's so embarrassing. The Phenomenal Ace says, what's the one finisher you wish was protected more often? Powerbomb. Diabetic Man says, what's a move you'll always enjoy seeing no matter what? For him, it's the Mongolian chops. For me, it's the Baron Corbin's end of days. Rossatron says, do you think at this point a company could successfully pull off a highly cinematic wrestling program? Sure. Yeah, I think they could. Everybody seems to love Lucha Underground. Hallow with Guns says, what juice are you wrestling? With your main channel being called Going in Raw, I've got some guesses. Long-time listener, first-time commenter. I really enjoy both channels. Well, thank you very much. What juice am I wrestling? I think that's just a goof question. Greater than Hera Hawk, okay, says, with Hurt Syndicate negatively influencing a lot of the tag division, do you think pushing Bobby Lashley to the main event scene will do damage to the current top guys when they refuse to sell lose clean? I reject your premise. I don't necessarily think the Hurt Syndicate is negatively influencing a lot of the tag division. AJG says, fuck, marry, kill. Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mankind. I think you kill Cactus Jack. You can't marry or F that guy. Dude Love, it's in his name. You got to F that guy. And you marry Mankind. Brennan says, which wrestler who has passed away would thrive in today's wrestling scene? He says Eddie Guerrero. If they were still alive now, Eddie Guerrero would be like 50 years old. So yeah, in today's wrestling scene, a guy like Brian Pillman, who can wrestle, and he's also a terrific talker. Paul Evans says, the Money in the Bank concept over the years done more to hurt the prestige of the titles than it has actually to help elevate the talent winning them and keep those stars as prominent main eventers. It's not the concept. The concept is great. It's a great concept. It's the writing behind it. So you can't blame the concept. The concept is terrific. Joker Smiley says, pick your personal amount. I mean, like Damian Priest cash-in was amazing. But it's sort of like lost its luster because his run wasn't that great as champion. And then now he's just sort of stuck in the SmackDown mid-card. Joker Smiley, pick your personal Mount Rushmore of wrestling with one representative for each style. Technical, brawler, high flyer, cruiserweight, and a hardcore. All right. Technical would be Zack Sabre Jr. Brawler would be Steve Austin. High flyer, cruiserweight would be Kota Ibushi, and a hardcore wrestler would be Terry Funk. Christian says, do you believe that in the future we could see a third company be just as popular and profitable as AEW and WWE in America? Just as popular and profitable as AEW and WWE? No. Creatively satisfying and successful financially? Yes, those are way different things. If CW is willing to pay $12 million for NXT, if a company can come up with a really good promotion and get $10 million a year from a TV deal, then I think, and they could be profitable off that. I think that's a possibility. I think it's a possibility. Trent Meehan says, is Larson a first name, last name? This is WrestleJuice. You got to ask Larson that question. Shay Yermone says, in a decathlon, who would win between you and your buds? Hilton. John Murphy says, what piece of ring used gear? It wouldn't be me. What piece of ring used gear would you like to own, and why is it Ahmed Johnson's thigh guards? Ring used gear? What I like to own? Like one of Asuka's actual entrance masks or one of her entrance jackets. The Pepsi dude, do you prefer white or black straps for championships? Brown. The All Gold says, since these videos will continue to be well over an hour, love the format. Could you possibly upload them to Spotify? I have no idea how to do that. This is not a flex. Larson and I, for the longest time, back in like 2017, 2018, we're trying to get on Spotify. And then finally our management team was like, hey, we got it. We got an invite to Spotify. You're good to go. But like, this is Wrestle Juice. It's, I don't have the same management team. I don't have a management team. Going and Raw does. I could always ask them to do that. But that seems like it'd be, I don't know. I'd have to like sign this channel up for like a partnership with them, which like I'd be cool with, but it's a hobby channel. And if I sign up for a partnership, then that comes with a bunch of pressure like to perform. I don't want to put that pressure on myself. This is just for funsies. So I don't think Spotify lets you just do that. You can't be any jabroni just uploading to Spotify. I don't think. If I'm wrong about that, somebody let me know. I've never looked into it, though. B-Man the Champ says, if you can manage a wrestling stable, who would you like to be in it? 4 wrestlers, 1 main eventer, 1 tag team, 1 female superstar. All right. I'm going to put together, I'll go with AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Asuka, and... well, we need a tag team also. And then I'm putting a 5. It's going to be a five person. And then the tag team would be, it would be, let me pull somebody from, it'll be Fraxium. That's my faction right there. JQL Girl says, what's a main roster feud for a current NXT wrestler you'd be excited to see in the coming year? I'm going to go with Javon Evans versus The Fission. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd like to see it. Mario Brown says, has Will Ospreay reached his ceiling? Remains to be seen. We'll find out after the surgery goes down if that's what he's going to do. Isaiah says, what's your go-to order from delivery pizza place? Meat Lovers. Legend Killer says, last time I asked for your 100 favorite wrestlers, glad it popped. You all settled for top 5. 100 favorite wrestlers. RVD, but his comments about the Raja Jackson stuff, well, I'll just keep that out of it. Probably, favorite wrestlers. RVD, Stone Cold. Probably Kenny Omega is up there. Probably, I'd say Danielson. And I will say Asuka. Those are, I think those are my top 5 all time. Maybe. I think it changes day to day. Trevor Nickel says, what's a match stip that should be retired for at least 5 years? Hell in a Cell. Stipulation should come back. Beat the clock challenge. Lucas Daniel says, if you could only push one to the top, who would it be? Braun Breaker or Obafemi? Oh boy. Look, if I was allowed to rebrand Braun Breaker into just a full-on like Scott Steiner, but even more Scott Steiner, it'd be Braun Breaker. Matt Moorman says, what do you think WrestleMania 32 would have been like with a healthy roster? That card was missing Cena, Orton, Seth, Daniel Bryan, Bray, and Sting. I mean, you just said it there. It sounds like it could be an all-timer. Work shoot photo says, in the vein of Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel, what's a dream match you thought would be impossible due to an age injury angle that you'd like to see now, if the old injured person can safely work it? Now? I mean, dude, I don't know about now, but like all time, kind of AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels, which I'm glad they didn't eventually do, because Shawn Michaels at that Saudi Arabia match, I think he probably regrets that. Probably doesn't regret the pay he got from it. But AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels, I think might be kind of in the orbit of what you're talking about here. Or Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan. Warrior of Troy says, what's the most draining side of covering wrestling / doing YouTube? How much of a toll does it take watching for work versus watching for enjoyment? Yeah, I'll be honest, it doesn't. I could concoct some sort of response here. But honestly, I still get a kick out of wrestling. We ditched NXT, which was the one thing that I was like, I'm not into this. And it just sort of feels like a chore. And then we review it on top of AEW in the same show. And it's just too much. And I wasn't enjoying it. But if we stick to Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite, and then the pay-per-views and premium live events, there's nothing to complain about. It's not draining to me. There's sometimes when I'm like, what am I going to talk about? But especially here at WrestleJuice, like I have found like a couple core ideas that I can at the very least get like 3 videos out of every single week. This, hot takes, and then the I Was Wrong series, which I really enjoy too. And then you toss in, some merch reviews, and you got yourself a WrestleJuice right there. So there's nothing draining about it. The only thing is like, hey, I hope the videos perform well, so we keep on getting ad reads over at Going in Raw, because that's, where most of the revenue comes from. Daniel Blake says, what's the favorite place you ever traveled to? Although I will say this, watch-alongs, I don't know how much longer I really want to do watch-alongs. They're kind of exhausting. I can't say exhausting, but you don't really get to pay full attention to what's going on and to the commentary and stuff. So I'd say watch-alongs are probably the thing that I'd want to get rid of next. I don't think we will. Daniel Blake, what's the favorite place you ever traveled to? Probably. Well, dude, I haven't done as much traveling as I really have wanted to. I lived in England when I was a kid, but maybe like the Scottish Highlands, maybe. Paris. I went to Paris when I was like 10, and I still have really vivid memories of that. I really like Paris. V Master, who's the most fun wrestler doing impersonation of? I hate to say this, but it's Vince. Heel Harrison says, Stone Cold's fun too. Just wondering what's the model make camera you use. I like it a lot. Would like to get one like yours to record videos. This is a Blackmagic 4K pocket cinema camera. And I've got, what is that lens I have? Is it a Lumix? I've got a Lumix zoom lens, 18 to 35 maybe? And then on top of that, I've got like this weird adapter on it that distorts the outside of the frame. What is this? Super macro lens? It's not a macro lens. It's a macro, and then what is this? A wide angle. Oh yeah, I got a wide angle adapter on here. So yeah. If you want like the actual specific specs of what I've got going on here, plus I got like a couple different filters and LUTs in OBS that I record on. But yeah, the Blackmagic 4K pocket cinema is fucking amazing, and you can get it for less than $1,000. Nobody we says, what are your thoughts on Foley versus Edge at Mania 22? I love that match. I think it's a lot of fun. Joe Nero West, who has the best ring attire in your opinion? Will Ospreay. Big Bang Boom says, which current members would you like to see in a future Don Callis family Wolfpack group? So Wolfpack would be like Don Callis family would separate. It would sort of like splinter. I'm going to say you got Don Callis family, Takeshita, and then the Okada one is the Wolfpack. So Okada would be in Wolfpack. So I'd do this. No. Takeshita would be Wolfpack. You put Takeshita, Fletcher. You bring in Daniel Garcia and completely repackage him. And then you bring in, who else do you bring in? You bring in Will Hobbs as the Callis Wolfpack family. And then the other guy, like Josh Alexander, needs to stick to the Okada Hollywood brand. Uncharted Media says, what's the biggest match that almost happened but never did you would love to have seen? Shawn Michaels, for me, it's Shawn Michaels versus Macho Man. Macho Man, I think, pitched that back in like 92, 93. Cyclone Jesus says, would Going in Raw sell out to AEW or WWE if offered the same contract with the same amount? Would Going in Raw sell out to AEW or WWE? Probably AEW. I just kind of, I honestly like, I think Raw, I enjoy Raw the most. I don't know. I like the vibe of AEW. They kill every single pay-per-view. I like their vibe more. I just wish their presentation was a little bit more in line with, like, WWE's presentation is off the charts. Off the charts. It's so good. And I wish AEW, if you're not going to, like, slick up your presentation, make it grungier. Make it just dirtier, grungier. But I just like the vibe of the place. I don't know. I feel like I'd like that place. Grown up kid says, who goes over? Steve Thunder or El Hermano de Nino Hamburguesa, pero con queso? Steve Thunder. Hipster Chandler says, what wrestling angle made you feel uncomfortable watching at the time? For you, it was Kane and Lita. When the bark like a dog stuff, the Vince, pretty much anytime Vince being a lecherous scumbag, that whole era. At the time, I was like, this guy's fucking weird. I don't want to see this. It's horrible. It wasn't good television. It just made me want to change the channel. Real TJP, if you listen to the Undertaker podcast, only in clips on like YouTube and whatnot. I like it. He's got a lot of cool shit to say, I guess. But I don't have time to sit down and listen to a whole thing. Shofra NC, what do you prefer? Which do you prefer? Throwing together tag teams like Brodito or teams with a shared gimmick? Oh, give me the shared gimmick any day of the week. Tony the Pokemon guy, what wrestler hasn't been thrown together tag teams? To me, just screams two guys who they couldn't figure out what to do with in singles. Tony says, what wrestler that hasn't been in movies and TVs do you think would be good in them? I have a good answer for this, I think. Oh God, Kyle Fletcher. That dude has got a face made for Hollywood. Stephen Wilds, which wrestler has the greatest chance of defeating the Kobayashi Maru? Great question. And how do I think Becky Lynch will do in Star Trek, the Star Trek Academy show? I think she will do very well. I'm really looking forward to it. The greatest chance of defeating the Kobayashi Maru, the no-win scenario. I'm going to say this. Woods and Kofi Kingston, if they co-captained, I think they could beat the Kobayashi Maru. Undead Reese's Cup. One change you'd like to see from the current product. I think I already mentioned this before, the presentation-wise. Also, the match thing. WWE needs to start making longer premium live event matches. Nate Fuentes, what's your favorite rivalry? One wrestler can't beat the other. Oh, dude, come on. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And then Triple H and The Undertaker. D4 Dave says, with Ospreay out for possibly a year, if he isn't good to go to be crowned champ next year at All in Wembley, who do they pivot to? Oh, shit, I don't know. Takeshita. Or Kyle Fletcher. Rad Cured 89ish. If you got the chance to choose wrestlers from WWE's territories, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AAA, TNA, Evolve, ID, Indies, and form a stable similar to Evolution or Undisputed Era, who'd you pick? Oh boy. Okay. An Undisputed Era. Okay. Jackson Drake, Javon Evans, Evolution. Well, okay. So it's not going to follow the Evolution pattern, but Javon Evans, Jackson Drake, Saquon Sugars, and who else? I don't know anybody who's in the ID thing. Well, what's the dude? The Shiloh guy with the dark web shit. Shiloh guy. I forget his fucking name. The Shiloh dude with the weird dark web shit. There you go. Not Ben. Who do you think? What do you think would have happened if Tanahashi couldn't have saved New Japan? Dude, I don't know. I'm so ill-educated on the lore of New Japan. It seemed like, dude, they had a couple other, they had some good, Okada made it all right. Naito was there. You had Shibata. They had such a good crop of younger wrestlers back then that I think, if they muddied through, they'd have been fine. Prince Paradox, in your opinion, what's the most underrated entrance music? Dan Severn. Buck, with the year half over, what's your match of the year so far? Oh, Jesus. When was, oh, fuck. Maybe. Damn, dude. Probably, goddamn. I love the high drama soap opera shit. I know there's probably an AEW match. I don't know. I got to think about that. I really do. There's so many guys. I love the Mania Night 1 main event. I love that match. I thought Cena and Cody was good, but then you got Swerve and Ospreay versus Young Bucks, one of my favorite matches. Rhea versus Io when Naomi cashed in was one of my favorite matches. Oh God, AEW's got so many of them. Hangman Mox. Wow, there's so many good ones. Probably Hangman Osprey. God, that was good. Parsath, what gimmick would you recycle and give to a new wrestler? Oh man, you got to give the intellectual savior of the masses to somebody. Give that one to Lexus King. Agnieszka Amanatsu. I hope I pronounced that right. Have you read Absolute Wonder Woman yet? I've read I think I got the first issue and I really liked it, but I haven't gotten, and I got like one of the Absolute Batman mans. I haven't checked them out even more. I don't know. I'm so burnt out on superhero comic books. Alexander Ball says, what are your thoughts on the new Hayabusa and young wrestlers taking up the mantle or mask of a legend? I think it's a great idea. Franchise wrestlers. Sure, why not? I think it's cool. I haven't seen a whole lot of the new Hayabusa, though. Shining Rev, how would you try to lay out the Callis family in terms of who slots in where? Main eventer, mid-carders, tag team, disregarding their current positions. I wouldn't worry about assigning roles. I would not worry about that. Focus on the character dynamics. That's what we need to see. Aaron, most dissatisfying end to a match or storyline? Oh, easily WrestleMania 17. Braden St. John, any odd or obscure ECW matches or memories you're particularly fond of? Honestly, my favorite, dude. So we had heard about ECW before we moved down to LA. Me, Jeff, Larson, Hilton, we all moved down to LA together to go to film school. And I remember it was late one night. Me, Jeff, and Larson, we all shared an apartment. Hilton was with a couple other friends in a different place. And we turned on my little tiny TV. It might have been that one there in our bedroom. And it was on KCAL 9, I think. And it was ECW. And it was the first time. And I saw RVD and Sabu tag teaming against somebody. I forget who. But I was so blown away. Threads of Dragon says, after MJF, do you see Hangman facing the Callis family? I think that'd be a good idea. I don't know if they would do that, but they should. Yoltz John, what's up? Says, why do you and Larson not have a Cronenberg-inspired t-shirt of the two of you morphed together with the caption Steven Larson? Maybe we'll do that now. The champ says, who's a wrestler you'd like who people might not expect you to like? I don't know if I have an answer to that question. Jackson Marvez, if you were the head of creative during the Ruthless Aggression era, how would you have booked Muhammad Hassan during his run? Not the way they did. I don't think that's territory you should be dealing with. Ryan Big Dog Hansen says, hypothetically, it's the end of the wrestling world and I feel fine. What are 3 matches you would watch one last time before all recorded wrestling is Thanos snapped away forever? It's the end of the wrestling world. Okay, so wrestling's about to disappear. I'd watch Omega Okada 1. I'd watch Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. And I'd watch End of an Era. D-Generation X 450. Which wrestler from the late 80s till now has had the most underrated career? Like someone who gets overlooked. But when you look at their career, it's great to Hall of Fame worthy. Scott Hall. Scoogalucci. I know he's a Hall of Famer. I get it. But like, I don't know that the Hall of Fame has so many people kind of like not even worthy of it. That like, I don't know. Scott Hall should have been world champion. He's no matter how much people love him, he's still underrated. Scoogalucci says, do either of you have a wrestling physical media collection? Either of you, this is WrestleJuice. It's just me. You got to ask that question over at Going in Raw if you want to talk to both of us. Do we have a wrestling physical media collection? I do not. I don't think Larson does either. Brendan Duck, have you heard of the Australian band Silverchair? I know one song of theirs. It's okay. I'm just trying to do something. Says top stars from AEW and WWE show up to have a face-off on Random Raw and Dynamite only for both companies to never mention it. Who would you choose to be the stars from AEW and WWE that show up? Wait, what? Only for both companies to never mention it? Why would they not mention it? Who would you choose to be the stars from AEW and WWE that show up? CM Punk and Hangman Adam Page. Zorro, do you think Tony Khan has a 2+ year plan with a world title right now? He's got a plan for Will Ospreay to win the title after the Hangman reign is over, but the Hangman reign could mean he loses it maybe once or twice and gets it back in that span of time. I think that's possible. I don't think he's got a 2+ year plan. Leg Hair says, Forbidden Door related, why did the full chair shot to Brody King not stop the tag match like it did Hangman versus Swerve? I don't know, but not a lot of people talked about that, at least in my orbit. Shotgun Sean says, which AEW wrestlers step up this year now Ospreay and Swerve are temporarily gone? Don Callis family. Drew Diesel, if you were charged of WWE creative, how would you manage NXT call-ups given the crowded main roster? Fuck, I don't know. Beef up Raw's tag division. Well, it'd be more factions. You need more factions. Kill Walker. More factions in the women's division. Women need factions. Is Raw and SmackDown going to be on 3 hours earlier than regular now? 6:30 my time. Raw was 30 minutes in. I don't know. Check your local listings, man. Go Bird says, do you think WWE will have more matches than their premium live events so they're going to be going to 30 a month? Do you think WWE will have more matches than their premium live events that since they're going to be $30 a month? No, I don't. I don't think they're going to change a damn thing. I think they're going to think that 3 hour long pay-per-views or premium live events with 5 matches is fine. I think that people do. Yeah, just pay $30 a month now. Hagennail, favorite entrance sing-along. I don't like any of them. Just stop with that. Mysticos. Will Music says, would you ever listen to my cyber grind experimental hip-hop? Probably not. WrestleCram. What do you think the wrestling community as a whole should do after seeing all the video that came out of the Raja Jackson assault? Discourage that from happening? I don't know what the whole wrestling community should do as a whole. I don't know. I mean, indie promotions should take note of that. Is that what you're talking about? I thought you meant, okay. Indie wrestling promotions really should take a look at this and be like, oh, we would never do that. Then you're good. And if they're thinking, oh God, this is something we totally would have done, then don't do that. Kofreezol says, what storyline or moment from WWE would you think would have been fascinating experience in the style of Unreal? Oh my God, are you kidding me? Fucking Montreal Screwjob. The Log Cabin, opinion on Ilya Dragunov. Will WWE use him well, or will he be gone by the end of next year? No, he's too much of a talent. AEW would use that guy really well, and I hope WWE does. G4 fan, if TNA licensed the Ultimate X match, would WWE or AEW present the best matches for those stipulations? I would prefer it be WWE because Ultimate X scares the living shit out of me. And AEW, somebody would get hurt. So have a lame WWE version of it because everybody be safe. Dustin Taylor, could the Raja Jackson incident play a part in ending that promotion? Yeah, probably. JMC, what is the story behind you and Larson not being asked back to the WWE 2K events? We are very unserious people. Funkamania says, what's your go-to basketball move against Larson? He used to be backing him down in the low post, but that dude has put on some muscle. It's not easy to do that anymore. The one thing that he can't really, he's really tenacious on defense these days, and it fucking kills me. It just used to be my mid-range game. I would just, catch him sleeping and then chuck it. It used to be my mid-range. Before that, it was my low post. These days, probably a hook. But goddamn, he crowds me. That dude fouls the shit out of me sometimes, man. But we don't call it. So it's just okay. You fouled me. Let me try to reset, I guess. Gary the GOAT. But no, all praise to his defense because goddamn, he's on me these days. Gary T. GOAT says biggest wrestling what if? Oh, it's got to be the Montreal Screwjob. What if we didn't get an evil Mr. McMahon? Big C, who's your first favorite wrestler? Scott Hall, keg of meat. Would you have seen it in War Games to set up his final match in December? Yeah, I could see that because you can get in War Games and not do a lot. The Scots, is there a particular food that if you go somewhere you knew you have to try it? For me, if I see fish tacos on a menu at a new place, I have to order them. Not really. I like trying out a French dip if I've gone to a new place and it's they got a French dip. Let's test it out. The Gecko says, would you rather see an AEW versus WWE yearly super show or have regular trades? Give me the Super Bowl of wrestling. Sophie Dopey, your thoughts on the WWE ESPN deal? Now we got to do that on top of Peacock. It's too much. The branding looks great, all the packaging and stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess it's better than how it used to be with monthly pay-per-views. Shimmy, if the first WrestleMania failed, do you think wrestling would have stayed with the territory system or would another company try the national expansion? This is a great question. Vince, somehow, some way, and I've seen comments say, oh, yeah, it was mafia money, was able to get a lot of money together. If you ever read Death of the Territory, it's a really terrific book. And it outlines just how much money this guy was shelling out left and right for his expansion. Because he was he was making TV deals across the country, shelling out paycheck after paycheck after paycheck. If all that collapsed and the mafia came calling and they were like, we want our money back, or however he got the money, if it all just fell apart. Jim Crockett Promotions and then Ted Turner, I think probably they would have just continued on doing what they were doing. And I feel like some amount of if WrestleMania failed, I think some variation of Crockett / Turner would have ended up being the promotion. But Vince pioneered so much in terms of taking all the best ideas and actually understanding the zeitgeist at the time in a way that I don't think those other territories did. So I don't know where wrestling would be today without Vince. There's a very good chance that this weird wrestling world that we live in just would not exist. Because it's a really weird, bizarre form of entertainment that could easily not be here. Lewin says, what would you like to see as the 2025 equivalent of the WCW RoboCop moment? He says, I'd love to see Cena do some sort of angle match as Peacemaker. That's a great answer. That's natural. That sounds right. That definitely sounds right. Marwin Baker says, I just found out you own a wrestling promotion. How's that going? How much are you involved? Is it as fun as it sounds? Me and Larson own Action Coast Wrestling here that runs out of Sacramento. Our good friend Magnum AD runs it on our behalf. We procured ownership as a result of a match, which tells you the legitimacy of the ownership. We try to help him promote it as much as we do, as much as we can. We're not as involved as I would really love to be, which is for a variety of reasons, largely because we're very busy doing our own thing. But it's a really awesome promotion up here in Northern California, Action Coast Wrestling. Most of the shows are run out of Pacheco in the Bay Area. But yeah, it's a really great place. A lot of great names have come through there. But yeah, that is our home promotion and we own it. Let's see here. Trevor Flynn, in your opinion, should Cena have TV/Netflix Raw matches with as many new faces as he can with as few dates left, or keep only matches to the premium live events? If it's up to me, I'm putting him on TV as much as I can, but that's not going to be the case. Pittsburgh Kids, you can stream only one pay-per-view for all companies. Which one are you watching? Probably WWE. I mean, for my job, the WWE. That's what we focus on mainly. PTS, what are your top 3 AEW pay-per-views? Number 1 is going to be All Out 2021. That's easy. The next one is All In 2023. Is that the last CM Punk, or is it 2022? What was the last CM Punk one? Because boy, that got crazy. And then probably this last All In, where Hangman beat Mox. Oh, that was a really good show. Mr. BRS, when Kingston and Orange Cassidy return, who should they feud with? Kingston needs to feud with the Death Riders. Orange Cassidy needs to also feud with the Death Riders. Colton Mayfield, although Kingston feuding with the Don Callis family would be amazing. What's your favorite wrestling video game? WCW versus NWO World Tour. Restless Gaming says, who would you say is the most influential wrestler of all time? Oh, man. Probably, for me personally, probably CM Punk. For the community at large, probably I don't know. I mean, given that superstar Billy Graham was copied, copied and pasted by Hulk Hogan, probably him, right? Yeah, I don't know. Probably, influential wrestler of all time, like who people copied and like what everybody wanted to be. CM Punk is so far up there, man. I really believe that. D. Miller Voices. Oh, Bret Hart also. Bret Hart, because everybody loves Bret Hart now. D. Miller Voices. Who is someone you think AEW dropped the ball with? Aleister Black. Johnny Ace. What do you think is the worst follow-up to a great heel turn moment? New Day or Cena? New Day. David Evans. With WWE bringing back a former ECW supercard in WrestlePalooza, what would be the modern equivalent of It Ain't Seinfeld? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Carlos Pena says, do you think if The Rock got the head job at DC, would there be a final boss story or Cena turning heel? Probably not. I don't think, no, I think you would have been so wrapped up in that DC stuff. Gregory Fiella, what's the best song ever in a WWE video game? The one that opens WCW Revenge with that great video package where that trucker's on the road. And then Sting attacks him. SRT Bad Brains. Tony Khan comes to you to start AEW Comics. The first wave includes 4 solo books and Avengers Justice League style team-up book. Who in the roster is getting the solo books and who's on your AEW Super Team? So the AEW Super Team is obviously going to be Hangman Adam Page's group from All In. The 4 solo books are going to be Swerve, Tony Storm, Takeshita, and probably Athena. Bucket Dipper, who do you think takes the belt off of Hangman? Wouldn't shock me if MJF did and then Hangman got it right back. Tala Zubari says, what's your favorite all-time on-screen authority figure? Teddy Long. DLB Mobbin says, in your opinion, no, it's Regal. It's Regal. Never mind, it's Regal. In your opinion, which wrestlers would benefit most from switching companies? He thinks Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne would be great in AEW. Yeah, that's actually not a terrible one. Who would benefit most from switching companies? Maybe Wardlow to WWE, if this last run doesn't work for him. Jake and Bake, if you could have one wrestler change their theme song to the song of your choice, who would it be and why? What's a theme song that I don't like? I would have Fraxium's theme song. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because it's talking about like stacking bodies and stuff. So I would give Fraxium Supersonic by Bad Religion. Legal Forearm Shots, favorite Twilight Zone OG series episode. I don't know. I'm not familiar. The one where the dude wakes up and everything's fucked up. The Watson says, favorite moon phase. Oh, it's full moon. 96 Grunge. If you started a wrestling company, you could have any band or artist, dead or alive, as your in-house music producers. Who's your choice? CKY. Matic Marvel. Will you bring back the Try Not to Look Away series? Yeah, sure. Bales. Whenever there's a new video, I try to keep tabs on it. Should WWE bring back Cyber Sunday? Sure. Everybody loves internet. Psycho Wolf says, not a wrestling question. You ever played the Red Dead Redemption series? I played a lot of it, but I haven't finished them. Raven Slade, a 1-for-1 trade between WWE and AEW that benefit both talent, Kenny Omega and Seth Rollins. Triple H King of Kings. Which wrestler would you want as your friend in the zombie apocalypse? Asuka. Necrotic Cortex. Who's the most underrated wrestler of each decade? 80s to current day? Come on, that's a lot, man. I'm going to give you one. Scott Hall, Fight Card Snake. What spots would the Usos be in today if Jimmy had never gotten hurt after WrestleMania XL and been out for 6 months? I mean, the bigger question is, what if Jimmy was not injured when they started doing the whole Jay Roman thing at the beginning of the pandemic? BXB Hulk, or during the pandemic. Would you be open to art commissions? Sure, hit me up over at, wait, what? I'd love to practice my inking and colors over your pencils. Yeah, maybe. Hit me up, I don't know, Instagram at MF Steve here. You can hit me up there. Kevin McKinnon, what finisher has been protected the most in WWE? It's not that. For the longest time, it was End of Days. Only like one person had kicked out of that. Daryl Weller says, rank these 3 dream matches we never got in WWE. Brock Batista, HBK Rock, Angle, Bret Hart. Well, Angle, Bret Hart's far and away number 1, then HBK Rock, then Brock Batista. Ford Dad says, determined to get this question in the zeitgeist. Should Moxley leave AEW and turn to WWE to continue evolving his character similar to Rollins and Reigns? No, he seems pretty happy in AEW. Noah Murray, who's a better manager, Don Callis or Paul Heyman? Right now, Don Callis. That group is crazy. X Blake, if you could name a sandwich based off a wrestler, who would it be and why? Them. It would be the El Nino hamburger. Shockwave, who has a better shot at becoming a future WWE World Champion? Carmelo Hayes or Ilya Dragunov? Ilya Dragunov. They have buried Carmelo Hayes. Dog Guy, when Braun Breaker main events WrestleMania, who will be his opponent? Seth Rollins, Mr. Perfect. Hey, Steve, hope you're doing well. Thank you, Mr. Perfect. If you had the political power to trade a talent tag team faction from WWE and AEW, who would you choose? Would they fit the product well? To trade a faction, who would you choose, and would they fit the product well? Oh, Fraxium would go to AEW. Dangerous Flower. Should WWE air Asuka's recent Kana-chan TV video on Raw about her history with Io? Yeah, I think they should do more of that kind of stuff. The heat is on. What should Chris Jericho do? Go to WWE. Fuck it. Why not? They're all old there. Ambient. What do you think of Blake Monroe's push now she's in WWE? I don't watch NXT, so I can't really tell you. Who killed Kenzie? Favorite women's active wrestler? Io Sky. Lord Blake Whitehouse. Is Oba Femi the most innovative powerhouse in recent memory? I don't know about innovative. Jason Sear, if you could travel back in time, what would you tell yourself 20 years ago? Invest in probably Netflix? Oh my God, get Bitcoin. Enigma Reed, what's your favorite style of cage? Hell in a Cell. Alex Cartwright, can you give me a good old, oh man, wow, Alex Cartwright. Maddie says, if they weren't signed to opposing companies, what women's and men's matches / feuds would you want to see seen between AEW and WWE talent? I've already said that one. Didn't I? I already did that one, I think, right? If they weren't signed to put what women's matches? Yeah, I've already talked about AEW and WWE. Mac Affleck, do you think X-Pac Heat would still have been a thing if he changed his gimmick up after DX? No, I don't. I think that he was just kind of an annoying character. But if he had stuck to I don't know, if he went back to being like the 1, 2, 3 kid or something like that, I think it'd have been fine. Animositus, thoughts on the Clash card? It's fine. It's okay. Not great. Son of Pakistani belt maker, Bully Ray called WWE a heel promotion on Busted Open episode. What, in your view, makes a promotion heel or babyface? In my estimation, it's a promotion. How do you ascribe? I mean, I don't know the context here. I don't know what would make a promotion a heel. I mean, the bad guys because they put ads on everything? Charging way too much money? That makes it a heel for me, so sure. Heel turn. What wrestling trope do you hate? When wrestlers stare at refs while they're counting. Grab sack. What do you think? Who do you think will face Stephanie Velcro for the title? Roxanne. I think Roxanne's going to win it. SRS. Who's the best wrestling ring announcer of all time? Lillian Garcia. Damon Harden. What NBA star would make a great wrestler? LeBron James. Silencer. Should Takeshita have the biggest babyface push right now that AEW is losing 2 big ones? If not, who? Yeah, Takeshita. It's Takeshita. TBP. So do you all actually co-own a wrestling promotion? PCW. It's ACW. Yes, we own it. The anime fans, do you agree that calling a match in the being of year, match of the year, and not see the rest of the year, an egotistical disappointment? I don't even know what this means. Calling a match in the being of the year, beginning of the year, match of the year, and not seeing the rest of the year? Look, Tokyo Dome used to have the match of the year on the 4th day of the year. 9 times out of 10, nothing would beat it. I don't know. Fernando Gonzalez. Can I get the origin of the term friendo, please? Like the second episode, I think, of 10 for the Win back in the day. I'd probably just seen No Country for Old Men. So I used the word friendo in an episode and it's stuck. John O. Davies, favorite version of the Enterprise design? Thank God. This is a good question. This is a great question. It's the D. 1701D. TPT1, would a cane work in 2025 he debuted today? Sure, you got a Mortis. You can have a cane. Roberto Delgadillo says, hello, do you think Tony Storm can get out of the timeless gimmick and still be so over? Yeah. Yes. 1000%. She's amazing. She'd find something else. AJ7, who in NXT do you think wins a world title on the main roster first? Oba Femi. Riley Payne, what does WWE need to do with the 2K games to restore your interest? Bring back custom stories that you can upload and play other people's stories. Roberto Lawyer Mark, which tag team had the wrong main guy? He always thought Matt Hardy was the better wrestler, but Jeff was the main guy. Did the Hardys have a main guy, though? I don't know that they had a main guy. Which tag team had the wrong main guy? Shit. Maybe it was supposed to be Stevie Ray and Harlem Heat. He should have been the main guy. Nah, Booker T's great. Fox Club, what if Hennig never turned on the Horsemen? Boy, they did the Horsemen wrong in WCW. Quan Smith, how would you bring back Eddie Kingston? Jacked. Just fucking loaded on roids. Just fucking massive. Larry Jester, do you think Vince McMahon in his current form looks like the wicked stepmom from Cinderella? Boy, that's really throwing some shade at the wicked stepmom, isn't it? The King's Catalog, do you think Mick Foley is underrated? No, everybody loves him. Callum Shannon says, favorite title design in TNA history? That blue one they got right now. Spatha, does Dirty Dom enter WrestleMania 42 with the belt or hunting for one? Yeah, he's going to be Intercontinental Champion. Still at WrestleMania. 313 says, name a match you would show someone to discourage them from getting into wrestling. To discourage them from getting into wrestling? Cena versus Cody at WrestleMania this year. Biggest Bobo, why do most wrestlers with martial arts gimmicks struggle to get higher than the mid-card? It's not a terribly compelling gimmick. Gino Diablo, you have to watch a really bad movie, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style. What two wrestlers on your right and left? Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. JJ Boulding, out of the following, who's a better wrestler to never win the WWE or World Heavyweight Championship? William Regal or Scott Hall? Scott Hall. Cloud Life Smiley, can we get your take on the Raja Jackson situation? So I went into it in depth over it going in Raw. If you really want to know my in-depth thoughts, the podcast is available right now. In short, a lot of failures across the board. A lot of people doing what they shouldn't have been done. People need to be held accountable. This dude should probably be arrested. AJ Otani says, should the TBS and TNT titles be brand exclusive? No. Go boy. What's your current favorite wrestling hot take, Steve? You always ask the friendos, but it's your turn this time. My favorite wrestling hot take is ECW never, ever, 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 ever could have been successful beyond where they were. She Machine, top 10 best WWE World Heavyweight Champions. Top 10? You want me to do a whole top 10 list here? Nah. OJ the Black. What if the one that turns on Seth Riders first is Bronson Reed and he wins the World Heavyweight Championship? All hail the Tribal Thief. I hope they do big things with Bronson Reed. I think he's great. Sharma says, based on the only in-ring skills, do you think Cesaro is among the top 10 active wrestlers? He's very good. Top 10's a lot, though. TJ Too Nasty, with all things equal, who could have been a bigger star? 1, 2, 3 Kid, 6 or X-Pac? 1, 2, 3 Kid. Carson Luke, favorite Adam Rose match? Bonus question, can you name an Adam Rose match? No. Small Osprey, what's your thoughts on NXT Europe? It doesn't exist. Stu Lost, do you think Sammy can carry the Universal Championship or will they just give him the World Heavyweight Championship? It's a world title. First name John, 1 Omos or 100 Micromen? 1 Omos. Vuck, is Dirty Dom a legitimate option for Cena's last match? Should be, won't be. Tay Sosa, do you think Alex Windsor can take the spot Hater should have? Yeah, I think she's really talented. AJ Farkash, will Cody Rhodes defend the WWE title on the White House lawn? No. Paradox, do you think Vince will get a memorial when he dies? Yeah. Ascent, who's on your Mount Rushmore promo talkers? That's going to be in a Friendo Club Wrestling video. Jag Money Entertainment, 5 wrestlers who aren't in the WWE Hall of Fame but should be. China is a solo. I'll give you a couple. Because I forget, man. I'll name names and they'll be in there. I'm just going to give you one. China as a solo act. Karen Live Forever. If Seth didn't get injured in 2015, would he have lost the title to Roman in Survivor Series? I don't know. It's possible, I guess. Probably. Stephen Ireland says, what would your WrestleMania entrance look like? Assume a licensed song. What gimmicky stuff are you doing? It would be CKY's 96 Quite Bitter Beings. And it'd be no pyro. Yeah, and it would be no nonsense. It'd be no nonsense. Portuguese Badass, how do you deal with Ann Larson's hatred towards CM Punk? You know, it's something I deal with every day. Every day. Jabroni Town, where's the Hilton pod? It's going up next week. Arbalist, why do you think any major promotion hasn't hired Matt Cardona yet? Poor man has been killing it on the indies. They just don't, I don't know. I'm not booking it. I don't know. I think that they just don't see him as a fit for what they're doing. K. Dot, what would be better for TV? Chelsea Green, Secret Hervis join the Grande Americano faction. Oh, I kind of like that. Or Chelsea and the Secret Hervis continue Team Canada. No, because they're on NXT. I don't watch NXT. Have them join the Americanos. Redondo, this is not a question, but I may have missed your hot takes video. I think you may like this one. I don't do not questions. Femtrapto, who do you think should defeat Becky for the IC title versus who do you think WWE is going to go with instead? It hasn't been decided. I don't think WWE knows. Who should it be? Stephanie Vecchio. Pentagaraz, why do you think Stone Cold gets a pass for his actions with Deborah, but so many others are staunchly vilified? All right. Speaking from my own perspective here, Stone Cold in his situation with Deborah, and she has gone into detail about this, and it is horrifying. That said, the reason why he gets a pass, I believe, happened over 20 years ago. And since then, he has expressed regret. Since then, he has been clean in terms of his reputation. He was arrested at the time. He served out the punishment that the courts gave him. Whether or not you think the punishment fits a crime, he was arrested. I think it was a plea deal, I want to say. And he was punished to the degree the court saw fit. Since then, seemingly, he has been clean. So when people are arrested, there's accountability. There's acknowledgement that they did something wrong. So he got the punishment from the courts. Vince, these are allegations in a lawsuit that he's fighting this lawsuit. He's fighting these allegations. I don't know what Johnny Ace is going to say, but Johnny Ace is apparently turning on him. He's out of the lawsuit because he's going to provide evidence. Who knows what that's going to be? There is a whole history of Vince McMahon getting away with fucked up behavior. Hulk Hogan. I know he issued statements saying that, hey, Hulk Hogan was your name in a bunch of stuff here. If the question is simply about Stone Cold, he was arrested. It was over 20 years ago. And since then, there hasn't been any repeat offenses to my knowledge. So that's why other people that have not faced accountability, but they seemingly got away with the things that they did. That's why, Hulk Hogan, it was like kind of a whole storm of things. It was like, okay, we've heard enough stories about how Hulk Hogan was kind of shitty to other people in his industry, how he kind of held other people down in his industry, how he really didn't help elevate the industry going forward. Even though he was, and I get this, he was one of the big reasons why the industry got to where it was, got a lot of people paid. But the stuff about him, helping to quash Jesse Ventura's union efforts, the politicking stuff, the Starrcade 90s, all the stuff. And then you add to that the racist stuff he said, and then on top of that, the Trump stuff, people don't like that. That's why. That's going to be why with Hogan. With Vince, it's just decades upon decades of shit with that guy. And he gets away with it. That's why. Stone Cold was arrested. He faced the punishment for the crime. And it was over 20 years ago. DNC Digital says Dream Survivor Series team. I'm not even saying like it's right or wrong or applying morals or ethics to it, but I think that's why he gets a pass. DNC Digital, Dream Survivor Series team. You and 4 teammates, any era, any promotion. Give me the big dogs. I want Roman Reigns, Bruno Sammartino, John Cena, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Brandon P. Love the channel. See a lot of people saying Mercedes doesn't need all those belts. From what she said, she wants to highlight the women. Okay, what is this? What do I think of all the discourse around Mercedes Moné? I think these promotions understand that having their titles on her helps their promotions. And if it doesn't, I'd hope they wouldn't do it. The discourse, as usual, largely disingenuous. Validation, boys. AEW stock going to skyrocket now that Triple H is taking WWE away from the working class, giving exclusive to the top 1% of earners. I don't know. I think cheap ticket price is a good selling point for an alternative, though. I think that might help. Mr. Sinister, if the first Raw or SmackDown show after Hogan's passing taken place in LA, what would the crowd reaction have been? I think he would have been cheered. I think by and large, Hogan's transgressions were enough to boo him in life, but not to boo him in death. I think that's my perception of the general, what people, the general fan reaction, I think would have been fine. Left arm lariat, pizza or tacos? Pizza, although I love tacos. Deep voice dude, if AEW never existed, would Omega, Adam Page, Mox, Okada, Ospreay all be in WWE, or would they still be in New Japan or retired? I think it'd been a mix, because I think New Japan would have had a really successful American launch. Scraps Trash Heap says Money in the Bank in the Attitude Era, who's the inaugural winner? He says Mick Foley. It'd be Triple H. Even though Triple H had plenty of opportunities to win Money in the Bank, and he didn't, I think he would have been. John, what type of car do you like? I have a Toyota Highlander, and it runs great and never have any problems with it. That's the type of car I like. Steven Eclipse, who will retire CM Punk? If you want to know, if I was Mr. Cool Guy, what car would I get if I had all the money in the world? Like a 71, it'd be the Bullet car, which I think was like a 71 Mustang, I think. Those are nice looking cars. I was also a big El Camino fans back in the day, but I'm not a car guy. You got to keep that shit up. Steven Eclipse, who will retire CM Punk? I don't know. That's a great question. Ideally, I'm going to go with Javon Evans. The Wrestling Game Network. Rent, buy, trash. WWE SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. No Mercy or Revenge. Rent one, buy one, throw one away. I got to throw away Here Comes the Pain because I never played it. I'm going to rent Revenge, and I'm going to buy No Mercy. W.S. Fletcher, I love that wrestling is not a monolith. Everything you guys say about NXT is how I feel about AEW. It's not interesting. That, again, gives credence to the idea that more wrestling options are good. I agree 1,000%. But Fletcher, next time I need a question. I didn't see a question mark there. Your boy Mark says, with 10 dates remaining, is there a chance John Cena can win the Intercontinental Championship? I don't think it's going to happen. This Manatee says, do you think Triple H will ever let LA Knight win a world title? Yes. Sergeant Fambro, who is one wrestler you think should be in the Hall of Fame and one you think should be China should be there? One that is but should not be? God, there's a lot. There's a lot of them. Trump. Planet Bumble 5060 says, you get hired to set up a wrestling promotion run entirely by Star Trek characters. Who's your world champion and why? Worf. Obviously. I don't need to tell you why. Jason, PPW sound guy. You and Larson decided you're ending the podcast, starting a yacht rock band. What wrestlers are you asking to join the band? Who's playing what? Well, Hogan plays bass. If we're being this ridiculous, Hogan plays bass. And then, I don't know, what else is there? Who else is there? God damn, my playlist ended. B. York. JBL is my... Larson will quit the band if Hogan plays bass, by the way. JBL is my favorite profession-based wrestler. I would go as far as say he could be the best profession-based wrestler character of all time. Who's your favorite profession-based wrestler? MVP. That was the first one that came to mind because he was like sports free agent. He was like professional sports guy. Like what sport did he come from? That was always so confusing to me. Was he a basketball player? Was he a football player? I don't know what he was supposed to be. Country 816. I think AEW could safely hot potato titles like in the 90s. Lots of words. Your thoughts. Yeah, I think they should. Jimbo Slice. If Cody retires, gets a position of some control in the distant future, you see the Young Bucks being inducted into the Hall of Fame even while never competing for WWE. If WWE buys AEW, sure. Wilkinator. Love your solo show and count out with Larson. My question is, do you think Raja Jackson deserves prison time? I mean, that's up to the courts, man. But kind of like, yeah, probably. What are the replies here? Me being a law enforcement, I would like to what his criminal record looks like. After that, if it's clean, I would pay. Wait, you're in law enforcement, Russell Cram? Are you a Fed like my grandpa was? Grown-up kid. Oh, no. Let's see here. Bowman blah, 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 says, how popular MJF be in comparison to others like Dominic Braun? Probably a lot. The guy's really talented. Shocking LP. If you could rewrite the history of a blacklisted wrestler and make them favorable to the world again, who would it be? Rewrite the history of a blacklisted wrestler? Shane Douglas? Is he blacklisted? The Undead S'more. Are there any now? Shane Douglas should be in the WWE Hall of Fame for giving Triple H his whole fucking gimmick. Are there any now retired commentators you can't stand when watching wrestling shows of the past? Yeah, you named them. Jerry Lawler, Ranja. Why do people say that more broad character gimmicks in NXT won't get over on main roster? I don't know why people say what they say, man. That's not, I don't know. Why do people say what they say? Because they're people. People are people. What, you know. Horror Stew, Sanford and Sons or the Jeffersons? I was a big Jeffersons guy. I didn't watch a lot of Sanford and Sons. I feel like it was the same gimmick every time. Oh, I'm having a heart attack. TJ Ryder, why is AEW squandering Danhausen? I just feel like they don't really get him creatively speaking. Jeremy Santos, favorite post-grunge / alternative bands? Probably Interpol. I was a big Interpol fan for their first 2 or 3 albums. I liked the Strokes' first album. I thought that was really good. I liked the Hives well enough. Queens of the Stone Age, I swear by. It's Queens of the Stone Age. That's my shit right there. Also CKY. Lost Mexican says, just want to say that Jessica Carr's been the best ref in WWE. Why are AEW refs just so terrible? They need to dial back the whole refs getting involved shit. It's a bit much. Stinky Bojangles, how do you cope with the impending looming threat of fascism during a late-stage capitalist hellscape and the slow burn death of the American Empire? Alternative, what are your top 5 favorite tag team moves? My favorite tag team move is the Shaker Hike Spike. You should look at the YouTube video on it. I just hope that all the first question here, I just hope that all things pass. You know, I just hope that people come to their senses with this shit. That's all you can do. You can only do is I vote the way that I think is a smart way to vote. Try to spread the word as much as I can. And then, you know, sometimes if you pray for lightning to strike a particular individual, maybe, you know, that won't hurt either. Hassan, Shawn Michaels books great women's wrestling, but he fumbled with Zari. Instead of being a monster heel like Braun Strowman, she's just a stereotypical best friend, which sucks her presence in the ring. Yeah, I wonder if it's something he sees in the ring with her. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but that's sort of curious to me as well. Demon, does a lot of the AEW hate feel forced? Yes. Wicked Mex Tex-Mex. Why do you and other fans get upset when WWE counter programs AEW pay-per-views? I don't get upset. I don't really give a shit. I don't think it's good business, but I don't get upset. I can't speak for anybody else. Who would have guessed if you could have a blunt rotation with any 5 people? I don't really smoke a lot of weed. I know I might be weed-coated, but I'm not. I don't really smoke a lot of weed. I honestly do not remember the last time I smoked. It's been a very long time. Sarcastic fan stick. Best and worst belt design for WWE, AEW, TNA, and New Japan. Gee, there's a lot. Y'all need to stick to like one question. Like, what's my favorite best belt design for WWE? The Daniel Bryan one. The worst 24/7 title. Then you can ask about AEW next time. Cam Popplestone, what's your favorite match that a larger portion of fans might consider bad, but you really enjoy anyway? Survivor Series 2017, the main event. Jake Tom Titian, would you rather Logan Paul as champion for the next 2 years or WWE back under Vince's control for the next 5? Logan Paul's WWE champion. Second Sable, are you okay? It's been an hour, 16 minutes. No. Money, best Alice in Chains album. Dirt, Trey Briggs. Do you think MJF would do good in WWE? Yes. Ringtail WWE. Have you ever played Fallout? Yes. Joshua Anoi says favorite cheat meal, pizza. Tony Hawk's pro hater. What is a wrestling cliche you can't stand when wrestlers look at refs? A bridger man. What's the most insignificant thing you've taken away would inconvenience you the most? If you stop doing these 1 hour Ask Wrestle Juice, I would have to find something else to mow my lawn to. Oh, you're mowing your lawn? That's cool. Yeah, big lawn then. An hour long? Jeez. Insignificant thing that I've taken away would inconvenience you the most. If all water bottles disappeared. I need this. Drew Bloom, what's the VPN you'd recommend? Nord. Kicking it with Leo. Should Liv Morgan win the 2026 Royal Rumble? Yeah, sure. Helmer, if I still remember Machinima, how many Tylenol do I need for my lower back? You are getting old, friendo. Creed Lucian Games, you're building your perfect pizza. What are your go-to type of sauce and toppings? It'll be marinara. Extra cheese for sure. Crust dipper. Oh, yeah, I'm a crust dipper. Oh, man, give me Canadian bacon, pepperoni, and sausage, baby. Maybe some mushrooms on that sumbitch, too. Common shot of El Hijo del Wagner Jr. had a son who's also a wrestler. Would name be El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. or El Hijo del Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. I'm not the person to ask on that. Already answered that one. Big Daddy Bland, how long does this video have to be before you say, okay, I'm not doing everybody's questions? We're not there yet. Pontus Olsen, WWE Speed, yay or nay? Yay. AVP, thoughts on the Rogers? Already answered that one. Billy talks about 908. Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers? We do that over at Friendo Club Wrestling. The Sea Bastion. What's the origin of the Sting profile picture for the channel? There's a video I did where I was making everybody's pictures with a big goofy smile. And I thought that one was particularly funny. And so I did a drawing of it that just turned into the icon for the channel. Fictional, how you doing today? Not getting any better. Brad Conklin, are chants like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes getting tiresome? Yes. Vincent Navarro, do you ever wonder why we're here? All the time. Death Shot Society. You can only add 3 things to an omelet. What are you adding? Mushrooms, mozzarella, and some bacon. Braden Loader, all these Chris Jericho rumors just a publicity stunt? Yeah, probably. Jalen Grant, when did you realize wrestling fell off? When did you realize it was back on the come up? Wrestling fell off for me personally when Mr. Kennedy debuted. Back on the come up when the pipe bomb happened. Nathan Schultz, do you know how similar you are to Philip DeFranco? I've heard that before. Kendall Wells, is Mercedes, I wish I had his money. Is Monet the most boring character? No. That's it. Oh man, I got them all done. And it's only been an hour and 19 minutes. That's going to do it for this Ask Wrestle Juice. We'll see you guys around.